bonus interview because we did not arrange this before. Everyone, this is Jordan Castillo Prize. Yay!
Hi!
If you have not heard of the Psychop series, stop. And I've said this like 3 times in a row, but like stop what you're doing. Go get it now. Read all of it, and you can come back.
Okay, well, wait.
I don't think they're good there. They're going to wait.
Maybe they paused it.
Maybe.
Okay.
Okay,
Good to go.
Welcome back, and I'm so glad. Isn't it great? I know, right? So what are you currently working on right now?
You know, it's funny because I just finished a big, huge, enormous project, and so I had a few pieces that were sort of in the middle that I stopped to write the last Psychop novel. So I have a second series called Nevermind, and I was like sort of 2/3 of the way through that one, and I started writing that again. And but I also promised a story about some of the side characters from the Psychop books. So yeah, so I was working on that too. But it's hard because I think if I force something out before I'm ready to do it, it feels forced, and then it requires, you know, twice as much editing, and it's half as much fun or less to write because you feel forced, and you're coming from a place of anxiety rather than a place of creativity. So which is not to say it's not fixable, but you know, who wants to live that way?
It makes the world a lot harder.
Yeah.
And you're right. Who wants to do that? So your writing process. You have talked extensively about your writing process in your old podcast.
Right.
God, the name just completely.
Packing Heat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's on my iPod. I forgot the name. And it is literally. I mean, guys, if you are interested in writing, you're interested in the business of writing because you self-publish.
Correct. Now I self-published.
Yes,
That's not how I got started, but you know, once I was established, then I started self-publishing.
How is that?
Correct. How's it? Oh, it's going fantastic.
Okay.
Absolutely fantastic, yeah.
But I love listening to, you can still find it on iTunes. Packing Heat is amazing because she so much insight into just the art of writing in general, which is amazing. So what made you start doing that?
Start self-publishing?
Oh, well, actually start the podcast and start, well, both questions. Start the podcast and start self-publishing.
Okay, the podcast came from, when I had a day job, I was working in a public library, and I was the graphic designer, and I was highly involved with the marketing and programming department, and there were a lot of people in my area that were interested in writing, from teens to adults to senior citizens. And so just because I knew how to do it, it was easy to do it within the community. So I was teaching a lot of writing within my local community, and I consume a lot of podcasts. I love podcasts, I still do. And, so it just seemed like, I don't know, almost like anything. You look at it and go, I could make that. I bet I could do that. You know, you eat a meal in a restaurant and you go, I bet I'd know how to cook that. I'm just that way. Like whenever I'm enjoying something, I go, well, I wonder if I could do that. And so the podcasting was like that. I thought, I wonder if I could make a podcast. And, when was I doing it? Like 2007 to 2009 or so.
Yeah.
There's a problem with my host, and I think the whole podcast is going to go away unless I can figure out a way to archive it somewhere good without, days of work. But that's too bad. So if you're watching this now and you can get it off iTunes, grab it.
Yeah. Note to self: save all of those on a hard drive.
Or email me if you need them again.
Now what?
But it was a lot of work, and but I would maybe do it different now. But I tried to be just consistent and really put something out there every week and make it, good content.
It was good. So about self-publishing, when did you start doing that?
I had a series with a publisher that I disagreed with their typography because, as I said, I'm a graphic designer, and the books looked like they were being produced in Microsoft Word, and they just looked very unprofessional to me. And so, what do you do when you have half a series? And again, self-publishing wasn't being done as much because it was 2007 at the time. The Kindle didn't even come out until 2009. The people who were reading ebooks were sort of more tech-forward, tech-savvy people, the type of people who had Palm Pilots. People didn't have smartphones they were reading on that. It's only a couple of years ago. This sounds insane.
I know.
Like I'm saying they were walking to school barefoot in a snowstorm uphill, and it does sound
it
like that.
It almost feels that way now we have all this.
It's so weird, though.
Yeah.
It's just a couple of years ago. There was no Kindle. What? It's weird. Yeah, so people were, the people who did read ebooks would typically buy a PDF the net book was a new thing. So like they would have a net book, like, ooh, look at my net book, and it's pink, you know.
It's like a 10-inch screen, check that out.
Yeah, it doesn't weigh 5 pounds, look. So, yeah, they would read PDFs on netbooks, or they would read them on their computers, or they would print them out. Crazy, huh?
I know, it's hard to believe, it really is hard to believe. Like way back in the Stone Age, we printed things out.
I know. So I had this series, it was $3 in, my 4th book was most of the way done, and we couldn't come to an agreement on the print rights. And there weren't 8 million e-publishers to submit work to at that point either. And even if there were, I don't know what I would do with a series where somebody owned 3, and I want to keep going, but not with them.
Okay.
So that was the only thing I could think to do with self-publish, and it was a ton of work. We didn't get the same distribution channels that they have now.
Oh, no.
I made $6 the first year.
Oh,
so you know, yeah, I was walking to school uphill, barefoot,
in
the snow both ways. Yes, indeed, I was.
So I'm glad that you're working out now.
So now it's fantastic. Once the Kindle came out, it was like the big turning point where I was able to put in my notice in my day job. Someone was like, "Whoa, look at my sales."
Check that out.
Yeah, but you know, and I was super established and had multiple titles at that time because I was willing to plug away at it for nothing for like 2 years.
Oh, the life of a writer. Let's just plug,
Yeah,
and
keep
hope for the
plugging.
best.
Nothing better to do, might as well plug.
So now, after a couple of years, because you stopped podcasting in 2009, so as of now, if you had any just one random piece of advice to new writers, upcoming writers, and I'm only giving you a chance to do one, because if you want more, get fucking geek. So if you had one bit of advice, what would that be?
Well, because I just taught a class on it, I would say to continually check in with yourself about how you feel as you're doing something, because writing is a tightrope that you walk between your internal feelings about what you're doing and external approval from your work. And you're always going to have to check, do I like it? Is it acceptable? Do I like it? Can I sell it? Do I like it? Do other people like it? And most people fall too far into the what do other people think of me? What can I sell? And they lose the self side because we're taught to please other people. And so I would say to just somehow, like if you are feeling an anxiety, to check in and say, how do I really feel? And just before you automatically assume that what someone else said is true, check in with yourself and just say, is it really true, or how do I really feel? So that just the check in, and that's what my one piece of advice would be, is like, quiet, don't assume, check in.
That's actually works for a lot, just for
like
writing,
basically life, yes.
or handling criticism, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, criticism's a big one, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it happens.
And it happens throughout
We live,
whole
we
life, yeah.
So I was making this a short one, so thank you so much for your time, and just let us know one more time what's coming up down the pipe for you, and what can be, like, if we were going to say get up right now and wander to the room where they sell the books, what can we get from you?
I have a bunch of paperbacks with me today, yay! And I have my own web store selling my ebooks, and that is jcpbooks.com.
Put that on text, right?
Yeah, and if you're interested in Psycop, which is my most popular series, I have a dedicated website for that. It's psycop.com, and I love putting extras and short stories. And so there's all kinds of flash fiction and cool stuff like that on there, and lots of freebies. I love giving away lots of freebies. The first half of the first book is free there, you know, so I just love freebies because I can, because I'm a self-publisher, so I can make whatever free I want, and I love it.
That is really, really cool. Like, I think you're like at the moment, the only self-published author I had on my schedule, so I'm so glad you get a different perspective. So that's just awesome. So guys, really, I'm serious. If you didn't pause and go read Psycop, I'm very ashamed of you. So now that we're almost done with the interview, go do that now. Go do it now. Psycop.com, dedicated site, jcp.com.
jcpbooks.com. You'll end up at pennies if you...
Oh, right. Funny story about this thing, I'll tell you later. But so thank you so much for your time, and you've been so gracious. And I hope to see you around. GRL, of course. Recognize this hat is badass, y'all. Let me see. That hat is really badass. So y'all take care, and I will catch you next time with another interview. Bye.